Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. I'm Big Stevie for the drum, and joining us on the panel tonight is my friend Portbear and the Bridgeman. How are you, lads?
Very well, mate. Glad to see you on, and yourself, Bridgeman. How you doing?
Oh, I'm absolutely brilliant. Can I just say big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, lads, I don't know about yous. I'm still a wee bit tender for last night. I don't know what yous are thinking now that the dust settled. But I'll give you my wee perspective of how I think it went last night. I thought the game was kind of eachy-peachy in the first half, with no great. And the keepers weren't really tested at all. So I thought the first half was a kind of 50-50, guys. The second half we came out, I thought maybe we'll step up a gear here. But it didn't go that way. It was a kind of minute or 2 minutes of madness. Well, we made a couple of wee blunders, and there's no sense in blaming any particular person. The team, to me, it was a team effort last night where I thought there was a lot of the team weren't up to the play. And we lost the 2 goals. But I thought, a lot of teams with that wee crowd behind them last night might have collapsed and it might have ended up worse. But in fairness to the Bears, we started to pick up play again and we got in about it. And we got the goal, which, it turns the whole tie on its head, guys. I'm rubbing my hands again now. I don't know how you feel, Port. I don't know how you've seen it yourself, mate. What do you think? It's Port then a Bridgeman. Bridge, are you there?
I'm here, pal, yes.
Right. What did you think of the game last night? What was your rundown? I know you were on last night, but I never heard what had happened, what your rundown was. What did you think yourself?
I'm not that sure whether. Do you want me to do the view from a bridge? And you'll probably hear everything a bit at then.
Well, give us a view for the bridge. That'll do it. We'll go for that. To Port
Oh, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our view from the bridge. Malmo versus Rangers, Champions League qualifier at Malmo, Tuesday, 3rd of August 2021, 6 p.m. kickoff. I was so looking forward to this game. Always thought it would be a tough game, and it was. We were short of 4 first-team players, Morelos, Kamaru, and Leon Balogun, for a variety of reasons. Suspension, returns from international matches, quarantine requirements. Losing 2-1 was a bit of a shock to some Bears who expected Rangers to play better than they did, given our performance in the Europa League in the past 3 seasons. The Champions League, however, as we witnessed last night, is a very different level of competition. At times, Rangers looked like a side who had played just one competitive game this season, while Malmo actually looked like a side who were in the middle of their season. Big difference there. Malmo created a bit of surprise by lining up a 5-3-2 formation. Rangers struggled to adjust, and as Helander and Barisic continuously left spaces in the left-hand channel throughout the first half. It took us a while to get really into our stride, but once we got there, we did well. Overall, I thought it was a 50-50 first half, and we performed quite well, considering some weaknesses. Half-time, Malmo nil, Rangers nil. Sadly for us Bears, the start of the second half was a lesson in needing to start really well and maintain our concentration, as Malmo seemed to overpower us, which allowed them to capitalise on our slow start. In the 2 minutes of the second half, until Malmo scored their first goal, we were never in their half, and we gave the ball away umpteen times. Lundstrom seemed to be a statue when the first goal went in. The through pass by Malmo was brilliant. Goldson was claiming for offside, but Tab was playing everyone onside behind the Goldson. He was standing behind them, playing everybody onside. The second goal was all down to a dreadful forward pass by Tab, which was easily cut out by the Malmo player, and the counter-attack was on. 3 passes later, we were 2-0 down. The second pass seemed to go through Golson's leg, and the third pass was the one that went into off the far post. Really good play there by Malmo for the 2 goals. Losing 2 goals in as many minutes was horrendous for us and made us look quite inept and very slow. They were not the best goals in the world, but the clever play by the build-up and the build-ups was quite good. Our recovery from losing the goals took a wee while before we made any positive impact in the game in the second half. The biggest positive for us is the fact we eventually composed ourselves to get back into the tie. And with more game time under our belt by the return leg, we would be hoping our attacking play clicks a lot better than our pass delivery, which was sometimes really uncharacteristically poor. Right near the end of the game, we started to dominate with Malmo and played a lot better football. Last attack of the game, up steps Mr. Stephen Davis to a great left shoot shot, which took a deflection off a defender and passed the keeper at near post. What a difference a goal makes. And when we get the players back to up and out, I'm sure they will all reflect and learn from their mistakes and see how necessary it is for our players to be on top form. I thought it was a 50-50 game, and we did really well, considering the loss of the 2 second-half goals. Our manager said after the game, and I quote, "It's not the position we wanted to be in, but it's a lot better than going in at 2-0. We were also on the verge of going worse as well. We're going to have to go up a level individually and collectively for next week. And in my honest opinion, there are 6 or 7 that need to raise their level and raise it sharply." And then end of quote. I'll give the teams, the player by player. And it was, McGregor 6, Tavernier 6, Goldson 6, Helander 7, Barras at 6, Lindstrom 6, Davis 8, Arfield 7, Wright 7, Itted 6, Kent 8. Man of the match was Stephen Davis, followed by Kent. And there was only, that I saw anyway, there was only 2 shots on target, really, for them and 1 for us. And that was it. That's the end of A View from a Bridge. From a very difficult game.
View from a Bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from a Bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Well, Bridge, I can't argue with your rundown of the game. Excellent again, mate. And
Yep.
I think for me, you've marked the players a wee bit correctly this time round. You're always generous with your points, but for me, I thought Big Helander, Davis, and would you call him when he came on? The wee guy up front when he came on. I thought he was Sakala. I thought he was good when he came on. I thought he does a wee bit of movement, quicker pace up front. But the tide, as the manager says, I mean, before the Bells, I hope that the Bells that are listening tonight get right behind the team next week. He said that I've never asked for the support to get behind us. I'm asking. So Ibrox will be rocking. And I think if we can play the way we can play, I know Ox always says that we play with 1. And I'll tell you, I think we'll go through. But it makes it a hell of a lot easier, Mr. Stevie Davis getting that goal there. I don't know what you think yourself, Port.
Stephen Davis' late strike handed Rangers, in my opinion, a much needed lifeline. Third Champions League qualifier, losing the first leg 2-1. It's a hell of a lot better, mate, than 2-0. Which gives us, we score the first goal in Ibrox with that crowd. Stevie, you can imagine the roar. So, and I can just, see them lifting the whole team. I do agree with Bridgeman. I think there's, and like a gaffer said, there's 6 or 7 that need to really up their game. I think there was a few passengers, mate, which I was very, very surprised about. I know they are 13 games into their season, mate. In them 13 games, they've scored 31 goals and they've conceded 16. So, they can be got at, mate, definitely.
Yep. I can only agree. Listen, I'm no one for making that an excuse. They are 13 games into their season. I went there with a team last night in spirit and high hopes that we're going to, at the worst, a draw. I never thought in a million years we would have got defeated, but it is what it is. We've got our other bite at the cherry, and we'll just see where it takes us. I mean, there was a couple of negatives for me last night, obviously, I didn't think having Big Lundstrom and Arfield in the midfield done anything for us. It didn't work for me, I don't think. I don't know what the Bridgeman would think about that, but it just didn't work for me in the midfield, obviously. Honestly, I didn't think it worked.
Well, when you think about it, Lundstrom, you could see last night, a big patch of the game he was okay. But other times when it was needed, his match fitness and his physical fitness wasn't always there. And that's why I'm saying, when you're playing Champions League football, you've got to be 100% at both levels. And if you're not, you're going to end up struggling. And we did that a number of times. Even the guys that we think are super fit, Goldson had a couple of really stupid blunders. Tav with that pass for Tav was involved in both goals. He played the players on. Goldson shouting for offside, and behind him standing Tav, playing everybody on. So, these kind of things, they're what make, when you're playing in defence, if any of you don't know how to play in defence, when you're playing there, you've got a last man, and the last man is a last man. Somehow or other, Tav ended up last man. Nobody knew he was a last man. Big Golson's a man shouting. He's a man leading the place, shouting for offside, because he knows the guy's right behind him, if you follow what I mean. That didn't happen because Tav played them on. Secondly, again, another very, very poor pass by Tavernier around about the halfway line, and they picked the ball up. And before you know it, 3 passes later, it wasn't it? Done. And we just not can't. You can't play it like that against a team that's really fit when you're no fit, So, yeah, I think Lundstrom needs to get his fitness up. And look, I'm not criticising the guy, so please don't think so. I think Lundstrom and a few other boys in the team there, Arfield included, who would run through a brick wall for they'll love Rangers and they're going to do it, but they need to be top of their game and need to be on top form. And we definitely did miss Glenn Kamara last night. We really and truly missed Glenn Kamara. Not just Glenn Kamara, of course. I think when you saw what our forward line did against that defence there, you would think Morelos would maybe make a difference in there as well. So there's different slots and different posts there. So that's as far as I'm concerned anyway, guys.
I think on you go.
I have to agree with you, Stevie. I don't think, and this is not criticism in our field, I know that's not his side of the park, but, he hasn't played many games, mate. But see, in all honesty, in my opinion, we had the better chances in the opening half, mate. Ryan Kent was involved in many a good attacking move, including the blocked shot just before the break, mate. So I feel we did have chances in the first half. It was just after that second half, the sucker punch, the second period, playing in front of a raucous home crowd. Soren Reek slotted home in the 47th minute, and then the boy Barbanovic in 49 minutes, and that set up. It was a crazy 5 minutes, mate. Absolute crazy. It's just we seem to be caught cold, and that happens in games, especially at that level, Stevie, in my opinion. But in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with me, Stevie, and Bridgeman as well, you can answer this. I feel the Europa, last night I seen a difference between the Europa League and the Champions League. If you make a mistake or you come out cold and slow, you're going to get punished. And that's what happened for me.
Aye, well, listen, I think in any European competition, whether it's Europa or Champions League, I know it's a better quality of player and a better quality of team, the money that's gets spent in Champions League and the players and teams, but let's be honest, there's no easy games in Europe anymore, no for us anyway, but I agree with you a bit, but there's a bit of excuse in there, because I thought we would have went there last night and put on a performance, and there were so many players no at it. And I can only agree with what the Bridge says. Bethuk, Kamer, Roof, Morelos and Kamara, that's 3 guys that would have went right into that team. Well, let's be honest, it's just unfortunately our situation with the 3 boys. But look, I don't know if you've noticed the first goal. I was screaming at the telly, the guy at the back, he was storing his cell, and Big Lundstrom looked round and seen him, but still didn't get right out to him. He was still kind of stuck in the middle. But look, it is what it is. But as you said, there's steps up, and I just feel as if European competition, you make any slip-ups at all, you're punished.
Aye, I have to agree with it, definitely. I just feel maybe Lundstrom, when he played for Sheffield United, mate, he was more an advanced player. All of a sudden, he's found himself, being responsible to help James Tavernier, in these positions. And I just maybe think he's still fitting into that system, Stevie. And maybe if it was maybe a few weeks down the line, he would have maybe been in goal side of that guy and he would have made that block. But I'm not going to hang a guy out to dry. The guy's only played, 3 or 4 games for us. That was his big, debut in the European Champions League, mate. So that'll come. I'm still positive, mate.
Yeah, I'm very positive. I'm just trying to say in all of this, it's at a completely different level. You're 2 levels up.
Yeah.
Go Europa League level, and then you're up to Champions League level. And the gap's brilliant. The gap is massive. So, but we played against a Champions League team last night, and we played very well. It was a 50-50 game. Although we got beat 2-1, it was a 50-50 game. So that tells you we're not a bad team, even although a lot of our players were, shall we say, ring rusty. But we need to get that get all that out of their system and get the players in that we need in if we can, because it's a huge time. Biggest game of the season next week.
What do you think, Stevie? Do you think we should get the callers in with it and let's see what the boys have got to say?
100%, Port. Aye, get them on and give us a bit of stick. Tell us what they thought about the game last night. That would be brilliant.
Yeah. Aye.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Port, Bridge, I think when we were watching the game last night, I don't know if you've seen, they were struggling with their fitness at the end of the game. We were pounding them, and a few of them went down with cramp. That could be a big factor. I mean, by the time they play a game and then come to us, I mean, we've got a big bench here, but I'm just hoping we can get some. Am I right in saying Kamara will not be there? Morelos can come back, can't he? He'll be back. Yep. And Roof, was he missing it? He's missing it.
He's still missing, mate. Yep, he's still missing. But just to let you know, Steve, we've got James in the call, mate.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Is this James with Tennessee?
Yeah.
James Pickens.
My favourite.
There's no S in my name. Bridgeman. Everybody calls me Pickens over here. There's no S. It's Pickens.
Well, it's just Pickens. I apologise.
No, it's okay, Bridgeman. Right. First of all, I'd agree with Stevie. Like Lundstrom did see the guy, but he should have been smarter. And all the Tavernier was drawn to the far side, and all the defenders were drawn to the far side. The guy scored an excellent volley, brilliant goal, actually. The guy scored. I wish we had players that could do that. And yeah, I don't know if he's a defender or midfield player, but it's an excellent volley. Great goal, actually. But I think Lundstrom will either be good or he'll be bad. And I think we'll find out in the Scottish games when they're kicking lumps out of him what he's like. Because you might not be a Scott Brown to take it in the face. I've took balls in the face all the time. I've had guys head me in the eye, actually gave me a sore eye one time. So when I'm jumping up for a ball, who's laughing there?
That's that. What bear? That's that.
Who's laughing? I've had it. A guy headed me in the eye in a 7-a-side game, and it was awful. But anyway, I'm just saying, we'll see with Lundstrom. I think it was a case of they were fitter, they were more aggressive. We need to take shots. I've been saying that for years. We've not got an attacking midfield player like Chris Jansen, who I pointed out. We need to sign guys like that. It's okay, Lundstrom hitting the ball. I can pass the ball side to side all the time. You've got to be able to take players on. And we need a player like that. And we need more players that will shoot, etc. I think Itten's been given a raw deal because I don't think he's been given a proper chance. I've no service to him all the time. and they should hit some low balls to him. But I just think that it was a poor performance. And if I was a manager, I would have said, James Tavernier, a hero, a legend, but you're getting sold. I'm getting a defensive fullback because he makes a lot of goals, but he also gives away the other side and the big games. So if you had to tot up all the attacking plays he makes and all the defensive mistakes, and the other guy as well, our centre back, I don't know what he was trying to do, twist in mid-air or something.
Can I come in there, Stevie?
Aye, on you go, Port. On you go.
James, this is the same defence, mate, that only conceded 6 goals last year, mate. You know, most clean sheets. I mean, absolutely watertight. I don't know, I just think it's a wee bit unfair on Goldson. Yes, he made a mistake. Aye, Tavernier get caught out of position. But I think after last year's performance, you know, going unbeaten and getting the most clean sheets, you know, breaking all them records, I think it's slightly unfair. On that opinion, mate.
Can I say something, Port? Do you think it'd be unfair? How would you like to play in a church game in the semi-final of the Cup, score a hat-trick and not even get in the team at all in the next game?
I had it pretty disappointed, mate. I would.
Well, that happened to me. I scored the hat-trick in Preston. In the next game, I never even get a place at all. So football is unfair. Yeah. Let's be honest. What did Alex Ferguson do with Leighton? He dropped him after a game. That's the way it goes. People are let go all the time. Tavernier's a good player, but he also costs us a lot of goals, and I would rather bring in Patterson. But that's not my opinion. I don't. Yeah. It's just, this is a show about opinions. It's
I respect that, mate. I respect that. Yep.
Yeah, it's
James,
up to them.
Can I say something? James, can I come in? Right, I agree with you regarding Lundstrom. He should have been a lot braver. When that boy hit that volley, turned his back on it, he should have took what was coming, and no way should he have shrugged away with it. I agree with that. I agree with also with what you're saying about shooting. I don't know, many times I shouted at the telly last night, hit the ball, have a shot. I don't know how many times. And I do remember you're phoning up away last year, even longer than that, saying we need to start hitting a ball. And you did mention we've got 2 guys, Gary McAllister and Stevie G. They both could hit a ball. So you're surely saying into yourself, surely they're saying to the midfield, belt it. Let's get a good belting. Yeah, I mean, they've got the best in the business at doing it. So I agree with you there. Where I don't agree with you, James, I think you're being a bit harsh on Tav. Sell Tav. Tav, to me, we all know he's a total athlete. He's up and down. He's our captain. Last night, he tried to play a pass and we get caught and they get their goal out it. But regarding Big Goldson, listen, the big man get caught in a bit of a pickle. But I think what Port was saying there, that I mean, last year the boys in defence was solid. But again, it's a different level. How many times have we said it, guys? When you go to Europe and you make a mistake, you get fun out. It's as plain as simple as that. And I think Tav and Goldson last night get fun out. I think you're a wee bit harsh saying sell Tav because, I mean, come on, the guy scored 19 goals right back, you know, and I don't know how many assists, I can't mind.
22, mate.
22 assists. I think we're being a wee bit harsh there.
Can I come in?
But I understand, James, that football's a cruel game. I get your point, but I just think out the 3 or 4 points that you brought up, 3 of them I can agree, but no the one with Tav, sell Tav. I think that's a bit harsh, James.
And that's 3 out of 4. That's quite good for Rangers Radio.
That's because Ox is the only right, it's me. I'm a big softie, James, because I love your singing. I thought you were no bad. I'm the only man in Scotland that thought you were no bad.
Well,
right, Bridgeman, are you coming in?
Yes, if you don't mind. I just wanted to say that last night, 2 of the guys that have been, shall we say, we've built a team around them for a European Games, and that's Tav and Big Warner. And their crossing last night was appalling. It was just appalling. You know, and there was 3 kicks getting taken, and hardly going past the wall. And these are the key areas, particularly the 3 kicks, that we've scored some smashing goals from. And it's not as if, okay, Champions League football is different when you're playing, but when you're taking free kicks, there's no difference. The goalkeeper might be better, but you've got to come up there and do it. But they weren't even getting past the wall. So there were a lot to get to be able to come back to. I can't put it down to just lack of fitness because they're specialists at free kicks, and we scored a lot of goals last season on free kicks. And last
Great
night,
point, Bridge.
three free kicks, and missed them. Couldn't get past the wall. Okay.
Yeah, can I say something to you? Anybody that plays Rangers are going to stop Tavernier and Barisic. Berget was on Barisic, an old player, the old Celtic player. He was stopping them all the time, holding them up. And that's what the problem is. So we need another method there, the midfield. And to play two players like Lundstrom and the other guy, what's the other guy, midfield? The other
Davison, Arfield.
Arfield, I'm talking about. They're kind of, I don't know about Lundstrom. There was a bad report from a Sheffield United fan who's already said he wasn't very good. We'll see about him. Okay, with Tavernier, maybe keep him to make everybody happy. Keep him. But there was years where he was pretty bad. He cost us in the cup final against Hibernian, which was shocking defending. It was absolutely shocking. And that was a game we should have won. But anyway, that's a way in the past. But keep him then. But he needs to watch at the back, and he needs to watch giving the ball away sometimes. That's it. I'll say so. We'll keep James Tavernier. That's 4 out of 4 there.
Can I make one more point, guys? I have to remember as well, there's only 2 people in our team that have actually played Champions League football. If my memory serves me right, and that's McGregor and Stephen Davis.
Right.
So everybody else in the squad are strangers to it, and that would be an eye opener for them last night, because they're quite a good squad. They're a really good squad to be honest with you, and they look quite good in the Scottish Premiership. But it's just I just don't want to be taking too much off them. I thought Rangers played. It was a 50-50 game, and we came out with 1 goal down basically, and that should be okay. We're away from home, and we should accept that, and then batter them at Ibrox. Just batter them.
We've got another caller. Steve, we've got the Thunder from Down Under. We've got Big Al.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen. All right. Can you hear me?
What
How are you? You keep an eye out on your letterbox, all right? There's a wee UN parcel heading your way.
Okay, Big Al, that's lovely.
Okay, no problem. Is James still there?
Yeah.
Hello, James. It's great to hear your dulcet tones all the way from Tennessee. Yeah. I'm on here to back up James. I think the man talks sense. He gets pilloried on here quite often, but I think he talks sense. Maybe me and James are the wackos right enough, but what I'm going to say here is James is right. There's always that mistake there with Tavernier. Since he joined the club, there's always been that mistake, and it seems to happen when we don't want it to happen. So that's first. I'm not saying get rid of the guy, but
can I come in a second?
Of course you can.
Right, of course there's that mistake in James Tavernier. There's also that mistake in Connor Golson.
Correct. Well, that was where I was going to go next.
The positives outdo the negatives. Would you not agree with these guys?
No, I'm just highlighting the things. I'm not going to say yay or nay. I'm just going to say it yeah. But one other thing we've got to remember: better never stops. And I've heard this excuse or these statements rolled out the past couple of weeks as well through the pre-season games and after last night. That defence, 6 clean sheets, blah 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 blah. You can't rest on your laurels. I think that could be a negative, by saying they're not going to produce that form week in, week out, season after season for now to infinity. You have to renew that. In regards to the Parsons a better defender. I think we all know that. I think even so. I want a defensive defender. It's great flying up and down the wings and that, but at the end of the day, they're the defender. I was the same as you, Stevie. I seen that guy running in there, and there's nobody out there. Tavernier's on the other side. Is that not his man? just asking, is that not his man, or should that been Lundstrom coming from midfield to pick him up? To me, it should have been a defender. It should have been a right back. It should have been defending that.
That's exactly where he scored that one at right back. So,
aye. So that's all I'm saying. And another point, Malmo. I've just sat here with Malmo's European record in front of me. Malmo aren't a Champions League team. Bridge will probably remember, maybe James for Tennessee will remember, it was at 1978, 1979, they got beat 1-0 in Munich after Nottingham Forest. They reached the European Cup final, right? Malmo, if anything, are at the same level as us, same sorts of budgets. I wouldn't say that Swedish football is any better than Scottish football. Malmo, if anything, like Rangers, are probably Europa League team. Yeah, until you qualify into the actual group stages of the Champions League, that's when you're playing the big boys. That's when you're playing proper Champions League teams. There's a few stragglers in there in regards to playing in lesser leagues, like Scottish teams getting into the group stages, or some of the Scandinavian clubs. But that's when you play the real Champions League teams. Malmo at the moment, and same as Rangers, aren't they a Champions League team? Maybe Rangers are in club stature-wise, but with players in the park, we're not a Champions League team. I don't mean to sound negative. We've overachieved in Europe over the past couple of seasons, which is great, which is phenomenal, and I want it to keep happening. But Malmo aren't got a great European record. They're not a team that we should be fearing. We've got a chance next week. I'm confident we can get through it, because we seem to be a different animal when we're playing in Glasgow, when we're back at home. So it's positive for next week. But we've played better teams over the past 3 or 4 seasons. That's all I would like to say on that.
Can I say something to Big Al?
Go on, James.
Right. See, the Australian people, I've met 3 Australian people in the last 2 years, and they've been brilliant people to speak to. Really nice people. I met 2 years ago, actually, you'll not like this, but actually I met a lady that was training to be a nun, actually, and she was a young girl training to be a nun, and really nice. And then I met someone a couple of weeks ago at the Nashville game, Australian lady I was talking to. And then I met Colin on Saturday. From
you like the ladies, eh?
What?
You like the ladies?
No, I just happened to talk to them.
You like a challenge as well, eh? Try to chat up a nun.
I knew you would say something like that. I always be honest and so forth. And yeah, I was at an activity actually, and my friend's a Catholic, Joe, and I'm pretty friendly with him. So diversity and all that, everyone matters what the Rangers have. So okay, I just want to say the Australians are really cool, and I might even go to the Women's World Cup in 2023. So if there's a place,
a bit of action there.
Can I just come in here? Al, see some of the points. Sorry, James, to cut you off there. But see some of the points we were saying, Big Al. I agree with you in a way. We're level pegging with Malmo, and it is a bigger jump when you get into the group stage. And you're totally right. We did punch above our weight the last few years. But man, I was expecting us to go there. I wasn't expecting us to get beat. Oh, definitely no.
No. But I don't think we have been beaten, Stevie. That's the thing. The guys, I think Rudy, Big Jimmy, and that last night, they highlighted it. It's only half time.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean, mate. And I'm not despondent in regards to the game. It was a crazy 60 seconds, bang, bang, bang. Mistakes were made, but we pulled ourselves back into the game. I didn't think I said last night, I thought they probably played one of their best games. I'm not a Malmo fan. I've never watched them, but I think we can go up another couple of gears. I think that was their top gear.
I agree.
Chasing everyone down. They looked quite hungry. They were at home. They were chasing everyone down. We got hit with 2 silly goals. But we pulled ourselves back into the game. And it's over half time. I think we have to be positive for next week. The manager put that shot across the bows last night by saying there 5 or 6 players, blah, 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 that need to pull their socks up. They know that themselves. The manager's not going to, for now to next week, he's not going to be resting on his laurels. Bearing in mind, we've got a big game at the weekend. That's the most important game. We go into that. That's a lot of players will have 90 minutes under their belt again. That game last night will do a lot of players well. And then we got to that, and then we follow that up with the Malmo game at Ibrox. I think we've got to be positive.
I have to agree, Big Al. I think, the last, probably the worst I've ever seen us playing under Steven Gerrard's tenure was probably the Hearts game, in the Scottish Cup. And I think that was a one. I have to look how well we've played since we moved on for that. I think last night, in my opinion, a similar game. I think you'll see a totally different Rangers side at Ibrox. And of course, with the 12th man, with your fan base, and if we get that first goal, I think we'll go through the tie, in my opinion. We've got another couple of callers, guys.
Can I just say something before I go?
100%, James. On you go, mate.
Right, this Malmo against Helsinki. Malmo were poor, actually. I think we'll win. A player I would like to sign if we don't get the guy from Heronvey is Jed Wallace of Millwall. He's a good right-sided midfield player, really good, great player. May get him for 2-3 million. But I'll go now. It's nice to talk to you, Al, finally.
No problem, James. Are you away to polish your piece?
I'm away to train.
Carry, man.
I'm away to train a couple of kids on soccer. So I do a
good
one-to-one
man.
session. I'm a
All right.
great coach.
Well, you're doing that, train up your singing as well. I think you're fantastic. Thanks for your call, right, James. It's good to hear from you. Okay, mate?
Okay, take care, boys.
Take care,
Bye.
James. All the best, mate. All the
Right,
best.
James.
Bye.
Some man, James, isn't he, for the players and the stats and stuff like that, isn't he? You wonder where he gets the time to watch all the games. Absolutely brilliant when it comes to players. We got callers in, Port Bear?
Believe so, mate.
Well, let's get them in. Who's first?
Have we got Billy? Billy ready?
Blue Bear? Got Blue Bear, I think. No, nobody there. So, Big Al, what's your take on the return leg? What's your take on the return leg? Do you think we'll skate it, or do you think it'll be tight?
I think we get a win. I think we get a win. I don't know. It could be a bit difficult. It depends who's back for the game. Pardon me. Is Morelos? Is he going to be fit and ready for the game, or do we throw him in with no match time? I don't think he changed the team much. I like Lundstrom. I think he's going to be a good player for us, and I think as the games move on, he gets another couple of 90 minutes. He'll progress. Who do you swap out for Arfield? Would the team look better if Roof was playing than Arfield? I know he's suspended, but I'm just saying it.
Aye, right, sorry.
Do you play Kamara? I think. Front three. Nah, I'm not. You know my feelings on Aribo. Like, I think there's better players out there than him. I don't know if he's got enough fight in him for big games like that. He's got that bit of skill and he's got that bit of trickery, but I don't know if he's got a big enough heart. I want to see players with a bit of heart and a bit of dig. I don't think he has that.
That's Baloo and new Stevie.
So a positive game next week and a win.
Can I just say something before we go to Baloo? I mean, we're talking about Morelos here. I'm hoping Morelos gets a cameo against Dundee United and he comes on and he gets some game time under his belt so we can unleash him on Tuesday night. Oh, that's what I'm really hoping. There's a wee snippet, I don't know if any of the boys seen, it was kicking about a wee video and Morelos was out jogging.
In the car park.
He was out jogging.
I had to re-tarmac that car park.
Right. Okay, well, we've got Baloo Bear waiting in the wings. Are you there, Blue?
I'm on the right wing, mate. That's where I've always been.
How are
How you
you,
doing,
pal?
Stevie?
All right?
I'm not bad, mate. You?
Good to hear
Evening,
you,
Paul.
mate.
Evening,
Good to
Bridge.
hear you. What's your point, Blue? What you into tonight?
Oh, well, I was listening last night for a wee while, and I switched off, and I was listening tonight, and I thought, I went and I ran a nice hot bath, but I couldn't find my razor blades, guys. So,
Might be just as well after the result last night.
oh no,
But you got
I
to
wasn't-
a couple of lines.
I wasn't unhappy. Well, I was unhappy about the result, but I mean, really, when I switched on Rangers radio, I didn't realise how bad the game was. It seemed a lot worse. I mean, remember, Griggs didn't do anything until he picked the ball at the net. He had nothing to do in the first half. Let's. I think there's been a wee bit, people getting a wee bit out of shape here. That is our second competitive match of the season. This mob have had 14 games now. They've scored 30 odd goals in their games, and that's not including their European games. They've conceded 16 at home in their league games. They're miles ahead of us in preparation. That's what happened last night. I agree entirely about the problems in relation to the defending. I mean, I couldn't believe how much room that guy had. And it's true. Tav shouldn't have been where he was. But see when you say that Tav was there, the next guy up the field on the right-hand side should have known where Tav was and should have been watching it for the guy behind him. And he wasn't doing it either. Now, the manager turned around quite clearly last night and he said, there are 7 players at that 11 that really have to take a hard look at themselves. So you're not going to include the goalkeeper. You're not going to include Davis. You're not going to include... who else did he say? There's 2 or 3 others anyway. I think he liked Hollander, not the rest of it. But some of the other performances weren't great. And it was our second game of the season. All right, we'll put some friendlies. That's what happened last night. We were easily, well, maybe not easily, but I would say we were the better team on the night. And what happened was, I can't even say what I was going to say because I'm on the radio, it's a family show. But really, don't go out of shape about this. This wasn't as bad as it actually seems.
I think you've summed it up nicely. I think that's a good outlook. I think what annoys a lot of people is I don't want to sound as if I'm making excuses up. And we wrote times saying, the players weren't at it and all this, and we've only got the games. I really thought we would have, at the worst last night, got a draw. I didn't think we would have got beat. But you've summed it up lovely. So I'm going to go to the Bridge man and he'll take up your point. Bridge, what do you think?
Give us a refresher on that one.
Baloo, if you've got another 15 minutes to pick that razor blade.
Listen, mate, that's basket cold. Come on.
I was speaking about the thought that the manager had said about the 7 players.
Aye, well, that
Okay.
table, yes. On you go.
Well, if it's that, then no problem. I think it was obvious you'd see that last night. That's not to say they were all bad, but for certain parts of a game, you've got to be up there. You've got your whole physical ability you've got has got to be there. Your mind, your heart, everyone's got to be in there. And when it's there, and you could see that in some of the players for them, because in defence they cut virtually everything out. They're not the best players in the world by any manner of means, but they still out-jumped us and outsmarted us because we still did the same things. No matter what happened, we ran down the wing and we tried to cross the ball in and never got past the centre halves. And who are we crossing to? Well, okay, sometimes it was Big Itten, which he tried to chase him down. It was a wrong style of game for him, but he's looking for a cross ball or whatever. It's unfortunate, but when the wee fella came on, Fashion, he came on and that made a difference in pace. But then he's not got the height to go for the headers. All these things. I just don't think our style of game last night was doing anything for us until later on in the game. I would suggest the last 10 minutes, they started to tire because they put everything into the game, absolutely everything. And you could see they were struggling a wee bit. And Rangers got on top. And I thought Rangers for the last 15 minutes, they need to turn up next Tuesday. And they need to do what they did for the last 15 minutes and outplay that team. To me, it's as simple as that. We need to do it. And we need to get the rest of the team doing it as well, all 11 players. And I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't bother about the rules. I'd just put Glenn Kamara and Morelos in. And I would put them in and never mind. Just kid on. Their bands are finished. Brilliant. No, seriously, I take my hat off to everybody's comments. I mean, you've got negatives and positives all over the place, and we have. And that's the way we played last night. We played some great football and then some really negative football. And when we played negative, we seemed to get a bit punished for it. Alan McGregor made one save last night. One save. I mean, that's all he did. The rest of it, he picked the ball out of the net twice. Other than that, it was just a normal game, a normal night at the office for him. Just kick the ball out and things like that. So that's all it was. So that's what I'm saying about it.
We've been joined by Spanish Billy, Stevie.
How you doing, Billy? How's
Good
things?
evening, gentlemen. How are we all keeping tonight?
We're still a wee bit tender, buddy, for last night. What do you think yourself?
Still a bit raw, a bit deflated. I think it was more not the defeat itself that's bothering me. I think it's more the manner in which we get defeated. I think we sort of beat ourselves opposed to Malmo beating us. And I think, for the last 3 seasons, we've been playing this system now. Every single player in the starting 11 or in the squad knows every other player's role. We've been very, very good, especially in Europe, defending from the front the whole way through the pitch. We all know our defensive roles. We're very, very good off the ball and good at closing down spaces. And when one player's out of a position, another player knows his role to go and cover, to eradicate that space and stop the threat. And I just think with new players coming in, the communication, the unity there still needs time. So I think that was lacking last night, where what would be instinctive last season for players to go in and close down the space and to fill that gap, I don't think was happening last night. And obviously it's a concern, but I wouldn't panic too much yet, because that'll come good. But I know as Rangers fans and competitive competitions, we don't always have that patience. We want it done right away. I also disagree with the point about Aribo. I think it's a wee bit ludicrous to say he has no heart. I mean, was it Braga last year? He was phenomenal for us and battled through the middle of the park and showed a lot of heart. And I appreciate everybody's opinion, but to say that he has no heart, I disagree with that. I think Aribo brings a lot of skill, close control with his feet. He can play out of tight situations, and I really rate him. So I just thought I would defend Aribo a wee bit.
Can I take that to Big Al? Because it was Big Al. I think he's been a wee bit harsh, but I can understand the sentiment he's got. But I think he's been a wee bit harsh about it. So I'll let Big Al come in and answer your question.
I think Spanish Billy's been a wee bit harsh here as well, Stevie.
Hi, so.
Well, it wasn't hard. I said I don't think he's got enough fight in him. I'd like to see a bit more fight in him. I did say that he's got the touches, but for me, he's not a player. He's not a player. I've never took to the guy. He doesn't do enough for me. I think Better Never Stops. That was a club, I think, quoted that, or Castor or whoever. He seems to get aired quite a lot. So Better Never Stops for me. I think we could improve on him. He's been there 3 seasons and he needs to up his game if he's wanting to stay. That's just for me. And we've not been defeated. It's only half time. You know what I mean? So we've not been defeated.
Baloo, what do you think about Aribo? We know he's more like an iron player in the middle of the park, but my God, he's a ton of the ball football player, isn't he?
I think he has great vision, he has tremendous skill, and I think his tenacity is amazing. I think he's a real fighter. I don't see what the big man sees at all. Whenever I see him sort of fighting for the ball, people just can't get the ball off him. He's tough. He looks tall and gangly. He looks like Ted McMinn, or Black Ted McMinn. But the thing is, he has much more about him. He is real strength about him. And I would like to see it put on a stone and have a muscle. I tell you, he's an absolute. I think he's a baller. I think he's a real total winner. And I think if we could hang on to him for a while, we'd be doing very well. We'll get a lot of money for that point.
He's got absolutely some skill. And there's no two ways about it. I mean, he could nutmeg a mermaid in a phone box. Let's be honest. I agree with Al a bit. He's no the iron guy. He's no a dirty player, and I think Al likes a kind of guy that maybe dish it out a wee bit. If that's a better way of putting it.
That's maybe where I'm coming at it for all the attributes you just highlighted, his physical presence, things like that. He seems a bit wafy for me. I think he could do a lot more. If he puts his chest out, starts imposing himself in the game, he's a big guy. I think players would be intimidated for him, but I think he's even when he's talking on camera, he seems a bit withdrawn. He's quite in himself. Yeah,
he's very quiet spoken.
Aye. And look, I'm not. Please, I don't mean this as a bad. I don't want to come across as if I'm being horrible at the guy. I'm just thinking that he could, with a bit of character change, be a really imposing player, and I think that's what frustrates me. If that makes sense. I agree with the skill in that. I would like him to be a bit more angry. If he starts throwing himself about that park, people will be intimidated with him, with his physical presence. I just think he's a wee bit in himself, and I think he's been at the club long enough for that to have come out. That's what frustrates me about the guy.
Aye, he's maybe not a mental tackler.
Can I give you a wee like for like? I mean, Joe Aribo's no one for getting in dirty or anything like that. Stevie Davis is very much the same, and so is Glenn Kamara. You know, for me, I do get where you're coming from. You're wanting to, I mean, for the size of the chap, his physical presence, but he's no the kind of boy that's going to girl the ball, maybe kick somebody for you or get in about it.
Well, it's not about getting the ball and being dirty. It's being what you just said there, Scottish phrase, getting in about it. I just don't think he does that enough. When he's playing in that midfield, people seem to give him the ball, he does that wee thing, and then that's it. I'm wanting him to chase the balls down and get in about it. Be confident, be strong, be aggressive. Control the aggression.
If somebody puts a boot in him, you're wanting him to take his number and make sure he get, lets him go. That's what you want.
I just want him to be a bit more aggressive, controlled aggression. I'd like to see that come out in him a bit more, and then I would probably take him a wee bit more.
Right,
there is a fine line, definitely.
Port Bear, what do you think, Joe Aribo?
Joe Aribo for me, mate. And it's been well documented by Steven Gerrard. He's his go-to man, isn't he? I've always got a saying in football: good players can play football, but top players can play anywhere. And Joe Aribo's done many roles for Rangers, in my opinion. I think you think about the end of last season, he played left back. He's played in the front three. He's played in the centre three. I do agree with Big Al that I think he needs maybe another stone and a half. But below it says it. I see him maybe in the future when he gets his, if he puts on a bit of bulk and his full man body. I see him as a guy that's going to play centre mid, but he's not going to be that man that, in my opinion, anyway, that I was looking for. That's going to thunder into tackles, and he's going to be that player that's going to be like a playmaker in midfield. So he's going to need guys alongside him like Lundstrom, Ryan Jack, guys like that. Sorry, mate, on you go.
But how long do you give this guy for him to become that better player? How long do you give him that?
He's 25,
he's 25. He's a grown man.
Yep.
He's built like the proverbial thingy. How long do you give these guys? That's what I'm saying. Well, in regards to him, how long do we give him? I'm a bit frustrated. I thought his progression would have been a lot quicker. And the thing you said about him playing in different positions of the park, sometimes that's a good thing. But if he's such a good player, I would say that's probably a negative against him, because he should be commanding that place in the middle of the park, or commanding the place behind the front two, or whatever. He should be holding down a place week in, week out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the problem, mate. I think because Gerrard seems to use him all over the place, the guy can't concentrate on a position. Let's say if Gerrard says, right, I'm going to play you on the left side in midfield, but look how strong your midfield is. You've got on the right, for talking shit, you've got Lundstrom, Arfield, Jack fighting for that position. and then on the left there's
So he-
Kamara, Aribo.
So he's a squad
fighting
player.
for
then?
that. It looks to be it's squad
Aye.
players, maybe a bit harsh, but he'll rotate in the squad. We're
I think
involved
they're
in
all
4
squad
tours.
players.
I agree with you, bro.
Aye,
I think
probably,
because we play in so many tournaments, they'll probably play more than 60 games this season, depending on how far we get in Europe. We're going to need every one of them, and every one of them is going to
That's
need
it, bro.
to, muck in, definitely.
And he wants them to have that mentality.
Aye,
Like,
exactly.
you're one of your team.
Yep.
But you mentioned two sides of the park there, Port, and each time you mentioned 3 players before him. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, mate. That's how
two
difficult it is.
positions with
Yep.
6 players in front of him. You
And,
know what I mean?
and that's not even including Hadji, who seems to have been playing there
Yeah, well, Hadji as
most
well.
pre-season. I mean, Hadji's now became a more central player, in my opinion,
So-
through pre-season.
If you had the choice, Port, just a quick one, just hypothetically, if you had the choice, you had to sell one player, Hadji or Aribo, who would you sell?
Oh,
only
you're
keep
killing
one.
me. You're killing me.
No,
You're killing
big questions. For the man to answer these. Who
me.
would you keep?
Right, you all know I love Hadji, but I'd rather keep Aribo, mate. You
I
all know
agree.
I love Hadji. I would rather keep Aribo.
Stevie.
The two of them.
Aye.
I would definitely keep Aribo.
You get rid of Hadji.
I wouldn't get rid of Hadji, but if
No, I'm just saying, hypothetically, we can only keep one. One has to go.
Aribo.
You're-
Aribo all day.
Aribo. Right, okay.
Absolutely. Aribo.
Okay.
I agree as well.
Just to let you know, you're all wrong, but that's only my opinion.
So who would you keep, Al?
Oh, definitely.
Big Al
Aribo.
spit the W too. Look.
I'm phoning up Australia Post, getting that parcel rediverted back to me.
Right, I'll tell you what. Redirect that parcel to me.
Aye.
Well, I tell you what, but see what you're saying there. So what is it you think that Hadji has, that Aribo has? Because Hadji isn't a hard man in the midfield. He's not a ball winner. He's not a. He doesn't have these qualities that you want Aribo to have. So how could you keep
Well,
him?
Lou,
I think
that was my point as well. I mean, Stevie Davis isn't hard. Kamara's no a dirty player or a hard player. I know where Al's coming from when he's talking about getting down and dirty a wee bit. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to do that to me again. I've got your number here, bang, the next tackle. That Rangers team's just not like that. That's honestly, the whole team's just not like that.
Stevie
You know,
doesn't even have anybody like that in the team.
Is that not
No.
a football now, lads? Is that not
Aye.
that kind of guy not prehistoric in football now?
They call him Scott Brown, I think.
I don't think you get that sort of player anymore, because you think about it. Think back to guys like Lewis Ferguson who got red carded. Ryan Jack was getting red carded when he was trying to be that physical man. I just don't think the modern game has them types anymore, guys. Like
No,
your
no,
Patrick
I
Vieira's,
think-
etc.
I think Stevie's slightly twisting my words. I'm not wanting a player to go out there and start halving people, and I don't expect that for Aribo. What I'm meaning is he can use his physicality better. With him being such a big guy, I think he's, as I said before, I think he's quite withdrawn in himself a
So
wee bit.
do you think
I
he's
just
easy
want
to
him to
half
put
the
his
ball?
chest out a wee bit.
Right, listen, lads, can I stop you there a minute? It's time for a tune, okay? So we're going to have a wee tune, all right? So this will
James
cheer
gonna
us up
sing?
when we come back. We'll be a wee bit happier.
Aye.
We love you, Rangers, we do. We love you, Rangers, we do. We love you, Rangers, we do. Oh, Rangers, we love you. Steve and Jed came to Ibrox along with Gary Mack, and they were set the challenge to bring the title back. TDT arrived, TD ended with let's go, and never sniff it up to see the league lads finally hung. We love you, Rangers, we do. We love you, Rangers, we do. We love you, Rangers, we do. Oh, Rangers, we love you. We had McGregor, Tav and Golson, and Bournemouth had the back. Alfie significant defeat in the fallen attack. Davis, Jack, Kamara are full hatchet came alive with Hamilton and Balogun. They won his 55. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. Oh Rangers, we love you. Not forgetting Jory boys, then they could me fit. Like Edmondson, Stuart Barker, we knew Danny's bit. McLaughlin, Jones and Bassey, Patterson, Zungu. Though Nico Cattish didn't please, Rangers through and through. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. Oh Rangers, we love you. Dave King and the Three Bears deserve some special praise. They fought and won the battles to bring these glory days. Too many more to mention. They gave us everything. Now every bear around the world can celebrate and sing. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. Oh Rangers, we love you. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. We love you Rangers, we do. Oh Rangers, we love you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Are we all back, lads?
Yep, all present, correct.
Yes.
Oh,
Roger,
right.
mate, yep.
Stevie, can I come in for a minute?
Certainly
I
can.
was as disappointed as MD with the result last night. But I look at it in more realistic terms. The Champions League qualifiers are a bit of a lottery, mate. It's stacked up against the teams that's got to qualify. We broke the season a week earlier to start this season to give our team a chance to play. We got one competitive game in before we're through into these qualifiers. And it's all the way through these qualifiers. It goes down to teams who have maybe started their season, like Malmo last night, who have a slight advantage over teams that haven't played yet. And I just think that the whole competition is geared against the champions of countries who UEFA decide only up to the big championship class. And we as a support know the uphill battle it's going to be to get into the Champions League group stages, where we'll probably not compete that great either. But the money gives us a chance to further our club, and that's what we've got to expect. And that's all I wanted to say, guys.
It's a good point,
can I
folks.
just say something? That was very nicely put. Where have you been all night? you could have stopped James to Tennessee selling Tav and Big Al want rid of Rebo and all the rest of it. But listen, all kidding aside, you put that down lovely there. And can I say something, Tapper? Everybody knows we've just got expectations that go through the ceiling all the time, and we can be very, very hard on our team. We really can. We can be dead opinionated at times. Sometimes we'll go to wind our necks in a wee bit. I totally agree with that. So well done, the Fox, for coming in with that. By the way, just before we get off the subject, Bridgeman, did you like that tune there? We love the Rangers.
He's still dancing on the table, mate.
Yep.
He's still on that table. He's got hold out Mrs. Bridge.
What is it? He calls the kitchen the scullery. He's dancing in the scullery. Him and Mrs. Bridge, they're still dancing in there.
I've just get back to my seat. I've got there dancing.
Is that you, mate? Is that
There
you?
a Bridgeman now. There he is.
Rangers, we do.
Somebody must have pulled his step away from his seat, yeah.
Stevie,
He was doing the lobby.
Stevie, just to touch on what Fox was saying, there's one thing that's always annoyed me about the whole Champions League, you know, the branding, the banner. Do you know, do any of you guys think it makes a mockery of the title of that competition, the Champions League? Why should the champions at any league have to qualify?
I think the biggest majorities can only agree. I mean, we're the champions of our league up here, and third or fourth in the English league don't need to get through qualifying rounds, yet we need to get through 2 or 3. It's absolutely, but Fox tell you, they don't want the wee countries, the wee clubs. They want the big boys in there. It's the big boys. It's a millionaires' playground. They make it harder for us wee ones all the time, and that's what it is. We can only agree with you. I mean, it's UEFA. I mean, UEFA as well running our Scottish football because they're backwards as well, you know. And I'm going to touch on something later on talking about the SPFL and the Scottish League later on here. But I can only agree, it's getting harder, and it's because these guys, it's a millionaires' playground. Fox is totally right what he said. It's getting harder every year for us.
So how do we close the gap, Stevie? Obviously, next year, the winners of the Scottish League go straight in, right? So to make that competition true to what it means, and to give every the smaller, let's say the smaller clubs, and we know Rangers not a smaller club, right? We're a giant. But how do, with the finances, if we went straight in every year, Stevie, eventually we would close the gap and we would take scalps, because of our fan base, because of the money our club would generate. I just think it needs re-looked at, mate, because why should the richer clubs get richer?
I'll give you a comparison.
I'll
give you a comparison. Everybody says if we went down to the English League, we'd struggle. I don't believe that. I believe the support we've got, and we would even have more support. Do you think players would go to Wigan and teams like Bournemouth instead of coming to Rangers if we were playing in that league? Exactly. Absolutely no chance.
What do you mean we would have kept Jordan Jones in?
Well, I'm coming to that, Big Al. So
to me, Stevie, just before you move on, the Champions League is really nothing to do with football ability to me. It's based on TV audiences and what revenue they can bring into the Champions League. And that's where I think it is wrong,
Me too, Fox. Me too, mate.
The irony about the whole thing is it was Rangers' idea.
Aye, one of the founding fathers.
Not in the guys that is now, though, Baloo,
No, you're right. You're right, Fox, no doubt about it. But we took that idea to them and they grabbed that right away and ran with it. The first season we took it to them, they introduced it the following season and we were in it. But the thing is, am I right in saying that the reason that we will be the winners of the Scottish League this year will be entered into the group stages at that point will be because of the coefficient of the clubs?
Correct. Because what Rangers have done.
So therefore, what's actually happened here is we're a victim of circumstances. What's actually happened is when we get put down, when we get kicked in the head and put down and all this and tried to put us out of business, the only other team that was there that could have improved the coefficient did absolutely nothing. They actually, it fell back the way year after year after year, and the coefficient got so low, and yet in only 3 years we've managed to bring that coefficient back up. So we've done all the hard work ourselves. We've not had any help for the SFA, for the SPFL, or for anybody else at all. And if you think about that there's every probability that there wouldn't have been a case for any Scottish clubs having to qualify at any point in time had we not been put in the situation we were in. I don't know what you think about that. Did it make any sense there?
Yeah.
Aberdeen are murder in Europe anyway.
Oh, Aberdeen are murder in Aberdeen, mate.
Yeah.
Who cares about them?
Who cares about any other team? It's all about the Rangers, isn't it? It's all about the Rangers. That's what we do in the park.
Yeah, but Fox's point was about, it's all about revenue. It's all about all these things, and it's absolutely correct.
Fox was bang on the money. That's what it is. It's about revenue. Look, here in Australia, Liverpool tops, Man City tops. You see a few Bayern Munich, AC Milan. I've never seen a Leicester top. They were in the Premier League. Arsenal, you see a few Arsenal. Man United, obviously. So it's the ones. It's that world. The world viewing figures, if you like. All the Asians here. It's Liverpool, So Liverpool, that's why you see the Asian guys with Liverpool top. So it's all about that. It's getting that TV money. Somebody's getting rich with it. Look, the way I look upon it as well, the more we are successful in Europe, it's sweeter for us. And who cares? I don't care about Man City. I don't care about Man United. I don't care about Liverpool. I care about Rangers. And if we qualify or we drop down, it's all the sweeter for us. The more success we get, it's better for us as fans, better for you guys in Scotland, better for me here, better for the club. I just want success for our club domestically, and whatever success we get in Europe's a bonus.
Right, guys, listen, I think we've covered Europe. I think we could chase our tail with that all night, but I think we can agree one thing. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's all that Champions League's about, and Fox is right. It's all about money and TV viewers and everything else, all the wrong things. But anyway, we're going to move on here, and it was something big Al touched on. I was going to bring it up anyway, about Jordan Jones going away, so I'm going to ask you, and I'll start with Port Bear here. Jordan Jones, is that the right thing we've done, getting rid of him? What do you think?
I think it's the right thing to do, Stevie. I think a guy that, claimed to be a Rangers man for boyhood, many chances did he get, Stevie? Many chances did he get, mate? I think he's missed a chance of a lifetime. I think the boy, has ability, but I think he's missed the boat, mate, and I think he's missed his chance to be at a club that he, claims he loves. So,
Bear, would you agree?
He's not good enough.
When I say that maybe his personality got in the road of things.
Bro, his personality, but ego, yep.
Ego, aye. That's exactly what I'm saying. His ego's, I think his ego got in the road, and I think when him in the fridge, I never thought I'd see them in a blue jersey again, but obviously we were putting them in a short window, but 100%. When they did again, I thought, wow, I never thought I'd see them again, but I think Jordan Jones going down there was a good move for both parties, and that's how I feel about it. I think he had his chance a couple of times. He got sent off against Celtic, and then he got the injury, and then he came back, scored a good goal against Motherwell, and and then the COVID thing, I just think, when you look at the boy and what he's doing down at Wembley and all, down in England, I just think his ego, I think his ego, he actually thinks he's better than what he was, and I think that might have been his downfall. That's just my opinion, right?
I agree.
Would you think, Bridge?
I agree as well.
Would you think?
Well, I was all for loaning him out. I thought it's time he went away. I think he's, to be quite honest with you, and I don't like to say too much wrong about our Rangers players, but the silly tackle, he got himself involved against Celtic. Silly tackle, injured himself, and I thought that could spell the end for him because it was completely rash, and it just wasn't right, But I liked him when he played against Motherwell. He scored that fantastic goal against Motherwell, and I remember him for that. And I just wished the guy so well. I thought he was going to be a really good player for us. Everything. He was a Rangers man, so apparently, and he came up to Rangers. I thought, right, here you go. But then I thought the same against the boy from Motherwell, Hasty, but it just didn't work for him. Doesn't work for him. So I hope whatever happens, I wish him all the best, and I believe it's an undisclosed fee, and it's not a loan, and he's gone. Is that correct?
It's an undisclosed fee, Bridge, aye. But listen, what we've got to remember here is he's a Northern Ireland international. I hope to God we get roughly around about nearly £1 million for him at least anyway. And since he's an Ulster man, is Billy still with us?
I just quietly and politely waiting in the background. Just
Oh, Billy, give us your take on Jordan Jones being a Northern Ireland international.
I thought he had a lot of potential, and he was a talented player, and everybody makes mistakes, and I was hoping he would get a second chance, but as been mentioned, like how many chances is he going to be given, and his attitude never adjusted. I think your mentality in a club like Rangers, you have to be a selfless player, not just on the pitch, but in terms of your decorum and your attitude. And I mean, the whole Wembley thing, for me, that was just final nail in the coffin. Wee bit disappointed, he never took his chance to actually show what he could do and try and fight his way back into the squad. But I think, moving forward, we don't have time for passengers or for people that don't have the right attitude. It's all about progressing and going on to dominate. And with an attitude like that there, I think at his age he should be a lot more mature, and I think it's the right decision for all parties, and I wish him all the best, and hopefully, he can sort out his attitude and wise up a wee bit and show a bit more maturity, because I do think he's a talented player, but moving forward, I think it's the right decision for the club.
Yeah, I totally agree. Big Al?
I wish him all the best, but you can check back the archive. I thought at the time it was a bit of a left field signing. I didn't think he was good enough for us. His form at Kilmarnock was fluctuated, and whatever we seen him, he's done the exact same with Rangers. So I wish him all the best. I hope we got some decent money for him.
Well, that was what I was saying. Even though I think it's the best thing for both parties that he parted with, I just hope we got decent money for him. He's a Northern Ireland international, you know what I mean? I had high hopes for the boy, Al, and I just thought his ego I think he's...
But was that ego though there when he was at Kilmarnock? So why did we sign him?
Listen to the whole...
Favourite spots. He's a grown man, you know what I mean?
You could say the same thing with different players when we signed Juve and guys like that, total head cases. But you think when they come to your club, they're going to fall in line and buy into it, and I don't think
Juve wasn't a bad player for us. He done his bit for the short time he was with us. Juve's a better player than Jordan Jones will ever be. Juve was, African player of the year.
He came with the bad boy tag, didn't he? We signed him and he was coming.
I think that signing, that was taken into account, and that was the thing we were looking for at the time. Jordan Jones, I don't think was a player that we needed at that time, or his car. At the time, I don't think he was the best player in the Kilmarnock team. I thought that Brophy was a better player than him. So for me, if we were going to sign any of them, I would have signed that Brophy.
Yeah, but I could be that the goal against Rangers at Kilmarnock that night, the beatings was
we had signed him, hadn't we? On a pre-contract. It was written in the stars he was going to score. So that's just doing luck.
Mate? Sorry, Al. Hello, what do you think?
To me, I thought he demonstrated all the skill in the world. He's a very, very good, competent player. Unfortunately, when he did that tackle, he did himself at the same time, and therefore he didn't get the chance that bad boys like Gascoigne and Juve got to prove himself. He was out for months after that, probably the best part of a year when you think about it. So he shot himself in the foot as well as everything else. But to me, good player, but he wasn't smart enough. He's just not smart enough. He made too many mistakes, and that was public mistakes. I wouldn't let you think what he was doing. And Gerrard's not going to put up with that. Gerrard's not going to accept that. So Georgie Bestie is not. Might be a Northern Ireland international, but he's, good luck to him. He wore the blue shirt. I love the boys with the blue shirt. Aye.
See that tackle that you're talking about there? That's the type of tackle. If any of us had a blue shirt on playing in that game, that's the type of tackle we would have done. What you said, no smart enough. No brains, man.
But see the funny thing? That tackle is almost exactly what Gascoigne did to himself. Only Gascoigne's worked out worse. And I must admit, I was living in the Channel Islands at the time, and when I really didn't like Gascoigne after that. I really didn't like him after that because he was trying to do the boy. And it took me a long time to come back to terms with Gascoigne. But he did a turn for us. So, but you can't compare, Jones with Gascoigne. It's not fair. But I'm just saying what he did was unfortunately, he done himself as well as doing the guy in the day. He actually ended the moment he made that tackle. He pretty well ended his Rangers career. He goosed himself.
I think the tackle was like one nail in the coffin, but when you've got the COVID and this and that, I think.
But Stevie, what I mean is Stevie, is he put himself at the game for too long. See if he came back 2 weeks later. Maybe they got another 6-7 games that season, 10 games that season, and showing what he was able to do. But he was out for so long after that the taste in the mouth was too sour. And then when he came back and right on top of that, you get COVID. I mean, it's just written in the stars that it wasn't going to work for him. It was a shame, but it's just the way it is, I think.
Look, I think we can all agree it's good for both parties, and we wish them all the best.
Correct.
I think we could part Jordan Jones in. He's all happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mate.
Who next is at the door then, Stevie? You're a man with your finger on the pulse.
I thought we were trying to cheer us up.
No, great discussion. I'm lying here in my scratcher, man. It's brilliant. I'm relaxed. I'm cool.
With your leopard budgie smuggler zone.
No,
have you got a black cloth over your head? Have you got a black cloth over your executioner?
Right, guys, listen. We'll move
is
something
Middleton
else.
away?
Obviously.
Sorry.
Huh?
Is Middleton
Right.
gone? Is he away?
Middleton. I don't know. I've not heard that official. Is it official? Oh.
No,
or
that's
is it
what
just
I'm asking you. Is there a place
Oh,
for
I've not
him?
heard that. I don't know. I don't think the boy. Look, this is the Rangers' radio opinion. I just don't think Lynn Middleton's going it. That's just my opinion.
Aye.
I think the other one it's been in and out and all the rest of it. I think he's another one that he'll get a few cameos maybe and put in the show one day in Oscar. I think that's just my opinion, you know. But there's nothing official about him leaving or anything like that anyway. So I'm going to go into. It's breaking the day at the full capacity on Tuesday night. What do you think of that, Bells? I'll start with Port getting the full house. We're getting the full houses back, and I don't know if that was including the rest of the season now. I don't know the bits I was reading, but maybe Port can elaborate a wee bit on it.
The famous 12th man, mate, full stadium. I can't see why they would fill the stadium, mate, and then pull it back, and you know, in numbers, why put it to 54,000 and then say, right, no, next week you get 28. In my opinion, that will stay. That's in place now for the remainder of the season. That's why Steven Gerrard made the battle cry, asking the fans, you know, let's get us through this tie. So I think that's the way it'll stay, mate. I just can't see him pulling it back. I think it would be pretty stupid to pull it back after, you know, filling the stadium. So, no, I think it'll stay, mate. I think that's it now.
Port Bear, do you know what's making me think that's us now for the rest of the season? They've given that transmit in Glasgow Green to go ahead, you know. So if they're giving so many 20,000-30,000 at that, I just think that's us now. We're starting to maybe mellow out and get back to normal again. But that's fantastic news getting the Bear. I'll go to Bridgeman because I know Bridgeman was one for always getting the Bears all back in again. Bridge, what's your take on that?
Well, there's a couple of stories. One was the one that the First Minister said last week that she wasn't sure whether all the football fans that wanted back in could get back in under existing laws and rules. However, I think something broke just yesterday saying that the Glasgow City Council appear to be quite keen on the idea. So the sooner Rangers and all the other clubs apply to their respective councils and get it sorted out, I'm desperate. Next Tuesday, I want a full house. I want to see a full house at Ibrox. 100%. It'll make a huge difference to the fans alone, but for the team, it'll be just wonderful. Just wonderful. That's the way I feel. I really do feel that. They've been building up by 23,000 there at the weekend there, and a really quite a nice game too. But seriously, please, do what you need to do. Come on, councils, make it happen. Get the fans back in because they're all desperate to get in, and Rangers are desperate to get them in. Please make it happen for the Rangers.
Hello, what's your take on it? The Bears all getting back in. You happy, man?
It's not even a question, mate. It's ecstatic. It's the way it should be. It's been too long in the coming, but it's here now, and can't wait for it. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Words can't express. I think I can't wait to see the reaction of some of the players that have never played in front of that sort of crowd. And you know that. I mean, you've got the normal experience at a European night at Ibrox is absolutely brilliant, but having been the first night after a year and a half where you couldn't go to the games, where it's absolutely full to the rafters, is going to be the roof's going to come off the place. It's going to be brilliant.
See when you were saying there, the roof's coming off the place, it just takes me back to the Braga game, man. What a night that was, wasn't it?
I wasn't at the game, Stevie. I was in the house watching it. I mean, it was. Everybody that was at it said it was the best night ever, and the best one I ever remember, just for the actual excitement, was the '93 game when we came back for 2-0 down against Marseille. I was up in the gorge, man. I was bricking it, mate. I'm telling you, I thought that place was good. I thought I was going to fall off the front of that stand that night. It was unbelievable. But Braga was amazing. Aye,
brilliant.
Braga was amazing.
The fun back, happy man, mate.
I'm really pleased for you guys. Really pleased. I'm really pleased for Bridge because I've heard him for a year or so moaning that he's not been at the football. So that'll stop. But no, all joking aside, I'm really pleased for you guys to get back there. You give it loud and proud, boys. But one thing I'm more slightly concerned about is how will these players react? Because we've seen them when there were full houses before. They were a wee bit nervous. So, and they won the league with nobody there. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. But really, really pleased for you guys to get back there. To get your seats again. Big Jimmy, Ox, Bridgeman, Fox, yourself, Stevie, Portbear, everybody. You get back in there and give it some.
I mentioned that. Sorry, Stevie. I mentioned that the other night. Al, was that a myth? I was going to ask, obviously, different panel tonight. Is that a myth? This carry on, this sort of, it's been mentioned in the media. It's been mentioned on, Super Scoreboard, etc. How this team would react to a full stadium and win the league. Would there be too much pressure? As they won the league by an empty stadium when a lot of players were not under the pressure. You know what your fans can be like, lads? They can be fickle, one slack pass, one slack, the team's not doing too well quick. Is it a myth that'll play a big difference?
There, isn't it?
Sorry. It is.
That's
can I come in there, Port? Can I come in there, Al? See, for me, see that they're getting sent, that to me is just somebody trying to upset the apple cart. For me, that's a bit of propaganda coming in from other sources trying to say that the Rangers players will only cope with their fans being in the blowing their back. I don't agree with that. I just think that's somebody trying to upset the apple cart. I really do. I know we can be a hard crowd when somebody does the day something right. We're doing 1-0 against the beggars. If somebody does the day something right, the whole of the government, whether it's Bonner or whoever running along that line, I know we can be harsh, but I'm not swallowing that at all. I think the players will love it. We're the 12th man. We're behind that team. We're not against them. And for people who say that they'll know us being there, I disagree with that.
Stevie, Billu here. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. But what I was going to ask you, I don't know who can go through the team and tell me who that 11 that started the other night haven't played in front of that for Ibrox. Because there'll not be many of them.
Lundstrom.
There can't be many of them. I mean, you get across the back four, every single one of them has.
Roof. Has Roof played in front of Phil Ibrox?
Roof maybe hasn't. Has he?
No, because did you not join the January, Stevie? He joined the January show.
January, I think.
So he's not.
Is he still...
Sorry, mate. Where you go?
On you go. I was just going to say, is Roof eligible to play?
No, mate. Suspended for nearly putting the keeper in the net, member.
I remember. I can't forget that one.
Steve, we've got Robert on the line, mate.
Sorry, gentlemen, I'm going to hop out here, but thanks very much for having me on the show as always.
Well, sorry, mate. Listen, I've not got my pen and bit of paper in front of me and try to remember everybody.
Oh, you're 100%.
I'm sorry if I forgot you one or two. Hey, mate. I'm just a puppet in this game.
Billy from Ballymena.
It is indeed, yeah.
How are you doing, pal?
I'm not too bad. I'm on a wee while, just taking it easy. But I'm going to hop out here and give somebody else a chance. But thanks very much for having me on, as always.
Yeah, your good friend Stephen Davis did well last night, let me tell you. Did well.
Oh, Cullyback was ecstatic last night. The whole village was.
Cullyback, there you go. You were out there in the street shouting for him. Con yourself, pal.
I text a fellow Cullyback man to get us out of a hole last night.
Well, when you see any of the Davis family, just tell them Rangers Radio love their son, okay?
Well, indeed.
What a player he is. What a player. Ages get nothing to do with football. Absolutely fantastic. What a player the guy is. Unbelievable. Okay, is Robert there? Is Robert coming in?
I'm here.
Right, Robert. How are you, old pal? All right?
Aye, Stevie, I'm good, pal. I'm good, mate. I just wanted to give you a quick call. You know, I'm in the hospital and I've got the big operation tomorrow. So, but the reason I'm phoning in, obviously I want to quickly talk about my Rangers, but I just want to give a big thank you to yourself, to Oxbridge, Portland, who's on the panel, and everybody at Rangers Radio, and also Ibrox Radio, my friends there, and the Rangers family, because the last 5 weeks stuck in this hospital has been one of the things that's got me through is listening to the shows and talking about the club and all that, and everybody having their points of views about the team and all that. And I just want to say a big, massive thank you to all my Rangers family for helping me get through this. I don't know what I've done with it. Honestly, it's been unbelievable. All the messages I've had privately for you guys and wishing me all the best and keeping me going, and Ox giving me wee shouts out on the show. Had me in tears a couple of times, Ox, if you're listening. But thank you, pal, for everything you have done for me. That's what I just want
Robert,
to say.
I'm sure I talk on behalf of everybody here at Rangers Radio when we say, Robert, you're part of the fun this year, you're a big part of this show, and we hope you get fit as soon as you can, pal, and our thoughts will all be with you tomorrow when you get through your operation. Every single one.
Can I just say something to Robert, Stevie?
Oh, you go out, the floor's yours.
Robert.
Yes, Al.
He's had me in tears as well, man, with some of his patter. As of tomorrow, I've got to call you Brenda with this reassignment thing.
He's called man. Call me anything you want, Al. Just don't call me Tim. That's all I ask you. Don't call me Tim. Call me anything else, mate. Like.
You're all right. What size of high heel are you? I'll send some for you.
Well, I've been putting the lights on the keys at 6. I've had to squeeze into them.
Oh, yeah, you like it a bit tighter.
Oh, definitely.
Yourself, brother.
I will. But anyway, guys, I might get interrupted with the nurses now. If you know what I mean. I may be sitting there saying that, but I just want to quickly before I go talk about the Rangers. The love of my life, obviously, my Rangers. And I've listened to everybody's opinion. We've all been disappointed with last night's performance. The result ended up not the worst result. But let's be honest, guys. Let's not start picking on individual players and all that. I know my favourite latest June Tav and Big Golston didn't do his best, and Lundstrom doesn't know it's fit to me. Scotty Arfield certainly no fit. But it was a collective last night. It was a team. It was a team performance, and so they all kind of let us down, apart from maybe Wee Davis and Big Hollander at the back. But we've got to take it as a team performance. And I'm sure come Tuesday, with that big 50,000 roaring, unfortunately I can't be there in my seat, and that breaks my heart. But I'll tell you one thing, the Rangers will be up for it on Tuesday. And hopefully a wee bit of luck like Jory will be back in Hadji, because I don't care what MD says. If you're missing 5 or 6 of your best players, you're going to feel it. And a big shout out to wee Buffalo. I hope he's back in training and they might see 30 minutes him against Dundee United. If no, I hope he's back to play part on Tuesday, because I don't care what MD says. Without the wee Buffalo soldier, we're not the same team, but you know what? I've great confidence on the Rangers on Tuesday, and I think I'm put a wee prediction, and no a bridge man, but if it's a bridge man, we go to extra time. I think we'll win about 3-0 on Tuesday, and I think you'll see a different performance, because manager was hurting. Manager was like the rest days last night. He was hurting like hell with that performance. But you know what? Come Tuesday, the boys will put it right through. So all says, let's all in one get behind the Rangers.
Robert, brilliant. And by the way, we're all behind you as well. And I want to ask you a serious $1 million question. Have you got a ticket for Tuesday night? Because I'm looking for one.
well, listen now. Our Gary's not had me last time at the night. He was up visiting me up my Gary. And I say, Gary, if you get 2 tickets, take your mammy, give her a great time. She might not want to go, don't want to come up and visit me, I said, but don't let that ticket go to waste. So, Stevie, you private message Gary Weatherall, his name is, you'll get him on my Facebook, and you say to him, I spoke to your dad, and I'm first to get that ticket, you're not going to say anybody else. So there you go, mate, you do that. Because I couldn't think a better person's ticket to go to, pal. There you are.
That boy's going to get 10,000 likes on Facebook tonight.
I know.
Listen, I'm kidding you on, Robert. You just get yourself back to fitness, and for everybody here at Rangers Radio, mate, we'll all be rooting for you tomorrow and thinking about you. All right, buddy? We're a close-knit community here, and we all look after each other. And by the way, fair play to everybody at Rangers Radio. It has been texting and sending Robert messages. Brilliant. Keep it going. The man needs a wee bit of back, and we've got his back. All right, Robert. So you look after yourself, pal, and we'll all be rooting for you.
I will do, Steve. Okay. And one thing, Stevie, you don't put a good bear down. And we are the people. Thanks, guys, and good night. Good night, guys.
Good night, Paul. Best of luck, mate.
Take care. Take care.
Oh, brilliant. That was great to hear from Robert.
I'm saying that puts everything into perspective, mate.
Certainly did.
100. Superb, Jay. What a man.
Can I go up at a tangent, guys? Can I go up at a tangent, Stevie? Did anybody... I don't know who was trying to buy the match last night and watch it on Rangers TV. I was one of them. And I got a... You get the email for Rangers that says, if you want to buy the match, do this, click this button, or rest it. And when I went onto the site, it was missing. The link wasn't there. I couldn't get it. I actually had to watch it in like a streaming site last night. I couldn't pay Rangers to watch the game last night. It was a complete mess up. Am I the only one that had that experience?
Well, look, I'm not much a technical man, so pass you to Bridge. Bridge is very a technical man, and I'll ever be. Bridge,
no, I don't think so. I don't know much about Rangers TV, and there's major difficulty within the system there. I didn't have a Rangers TV coverage of it last night.
No.
But not directly on my TV, No.
I see a lot of people talking about that online, again, on your follow and things like that. But out here, I've never had one problem with my Rangers TV.
Did you watch it?
Aye, I watch it. I've signed. I buy that package thing.
Aye, I've got the package, I know, but you've obviously got the international one, Big Al. But did you actually get to see the game last night?
Oh, aye. But that's what I'm saying. For the past, 10 years, I've got that package, and I see a lot of people saying, the stream's not working, the sound's not here, or this or that. Aye. I've never had one problem. The streams have always been good for me, and they're always on time. And one thing I have noticed on this website is when you click on the Rangers TV, you have to go to the match thing and then pick. This is slightly different, but pick the game, men's team, women's, and then I just click on it. It's there all the time, mate. So I've never had a problem. I hear a lot of guys saying that they do have problems missing sound and things like that.
Actually, that's what happened to me last night. I clicked on it, men's team and live matches, and it gave me the option, the Malmo game, and I clicked on it, and then it went to the page where you need to click on it and pay for it, and all it was there was.
That's the problem. You have to pay for it. You didn't get it for free, pal.
No, I know.
You get your bank card out.
Your reputation goes before you, pal.
DHSS, they're brilliant for that, man. They sign on all the time. So it didn't work.
Luke, can I help you there? Listen, I'll get your number after the show off of Fox, and I'll help you out with something. I'll give you a wee phone off there. Okay, mate? You've got any more problem.
That'd be perfect, Stevie. No bother, pal.
Right, no problem. We'll park the bus there, right? There's one other wee thing here I want to go on about is the deal with the SPFL and Rangers are kind of loggerheads. the £1.6 million deal, it clashes with Douglas Park's motor group, and Rangers are refusing to wear the logo. I can't see Rangers the day came out and said that they're acting within the SPFL rule book. They've no broken any rules, saying no to that. I don't know where we're going to go as a club with that, or what happens with that. So, Bridge, I'm looking for your wisdom here. What do you think of that scenario? We're at loggerheads for the SPFL about the sponsor.
According to what I was reading, our chairman, whatever his name is, Chief Executive Robertson, he's back on the SPFL board, and he said that Rangers approached the SPFL and said that under Rule 17, I think it's Rule 17 of the whatever it be for SPFL, they within that covers what Rangers are doing. So Rangers are apparently not breaking any rules by doing what they're doing. What they're being told, because it's big games, and every game the Rangers play and it's getting televised, if they're getting televised, then it becomes massive, massive audiences. And if they're not seeing cinch, then they want to know why. And it's down to the nonsense contracts, in my opinion. Nonsense contracts that the SPFL have just went and signed. So apparently when it was put forward, Rangers told them there's a problem with this and can we get somebody to look at it, give us some clarification on it. And apparently they just ignored everything the Rangers asked for and went ahead and signed the contract. Because if they hadn't, if they'd waited another week or something like that, they wouldn't have got the contract. And that's all there was to it. So the desperation must have stayed in. That's the way I'm reading it. And they went and signed it. And then they find out, wait a minute, Rangers are turning and says, we've still in this, we have this. So we're not wearing sin stuff. For God's sake, the man that's running Rangers and now the chairman, he owns a car for him bigger than Cinch. What are you doing? All that nonsense. So that's what I think. I think it, and one of my fears, and I say this to everybody that's listening, and I mean this sincerely, Rangers need to watch what they're doing. They need to watch what they're doing with this one. And they have to get it right. They really do have to get it right, because you could pay a big price on this. Big price.
Well, my take on it, Bridge, is that Rangers kept this in-house with the SPFL, and the SPFL chose to make it public. And Rangers have now come out saying, well, we've no broke any rules here. We're working within the guidelines of the SPFL. And you were right enough, it was Rule 17. But if I was Rangers, I would honestly, see just what that mob have done to us early years, I would hold them to it and make them squirm and sweat out it. I really would. I don't know what you think about it, Port Bear. I don't know if you've read it about it.
Mate,
I don't know.
I've read the exact same as what you and Bridgeman have read. But I also think, like Bridge touched on, there's a bit of conflict of interest, with Mr. Park in his motor group. I noticed recently, also when, like I said, boys are getting interviewed and stuff, the Audi badge seems to have appeared on as one of the sponsors. So to ask Rangers put Cinch over their strips on match days, I can understand where Mr. Park and guys like James Bisgrove that are coming for. And as far as I'm led to believe, the deal's worth pennies. Absolute pennies, Stevie. It's hardly worth clubs' while, in my opinion. 8 million over 5 years. Now, I don't know if that's divided between the 40 clubs or just the Premier League. If it's the 40 clubs, it's even worse, mate. So that's my worry. But in my opinion, it's a conflict of interest.
Baloo, what do you think yourself?
Couldn't really add to it. I must admit, I've only seen what you guys have seen as well. You're looking at a legal team and a board that have sorted out the other agreements that we had in the past that affected the seller strips and all the rest of it, or the other financial agreements we had that were put in place that were poorly put in place. I would probably trust our boys to be right on the ball with us. I think our guys will know exactly what they're doing. The fact that they raised it at board level at the SPFL would suggest that there was something clearly wrong with it, and if we've been ignored as we normally are, then it's their own detriment. It's caught them in the past and it'll catch them again. I don't have any fears about it. I understand what Bridge is saying. It's good to be cautious. It's smart to be cautious, and you need to do your due diligence. But I'm absolutely certain that our legal team will have done that, and that's why they've done what they did. These guys are too smart to be caught out with something as like Port just said, small money. Why would they be caught out for small money?
Hold on a second, guys. Please, it's like this. In my opinion, it's like this. It's he said this and he said that. And Rangers are saying what they're saying, and the SPFL are saying what they're saying. And what will eventually happen is what they did for the last 2 years when Rangers put in forward, is they will go to the other clubs, which they've already done in the last couple of weeks. And if they go to a vote, you can bet London to an orange. I don't think it will go in Rangers' favour. Hence the reason why I'm urging extreme caution on this. I know they might be right, but urging extreme caution because we just don't know. We don't know who these people and why would they want to do that? Why would they sign a contract? Oh, sorry, guys, sorry.
A vote after the event is hardly a legal grounding. I would not be concerned about it. The fact is, it was brought to their attention before they signed the contract, and it was brought to their attention to us, and they chose to ignore us.
Yes, I understand that. I'm trying to say to you, for the last 2 years, for 2 years in a row there, Rangers put things forward, and it was supposed to go to a vote. Some of them got to the vote, and when they did get to the vote, they were told that people would support them and so on and so forth, and it turned out they didn't. So if anything happens here, the people that are running the SPFL will turn in and say, we're going to put this to a club vote, and all the clubs will get their vote. There'll be no going to an email, we're going to a junk folder, anything like that. It'll be going to a vote. And you know what will happen? Just if you follow in the talk to do with SFA and SPFL, you just know what's going to happen. They're going to try to force Rangers.
Bridge, we've been fooling the SF. They're supercomputers and everything that goes along with them. We all know.
They're going to force Rangers to do this. I'm quite convinced that they're going to try and force it. Let's put it that way. I hope Rangers win. My heart's in Rangers already.
But this is a contractual agreement with an external body. This is no the internal SPFL. This is an entirely different animal. This is a legal device. This is a contractual agreement with an external group. This isn't like Dundee, no checking their spam folder. This is different.
Can I ask you, Stevie? Why did they agree?
Rangers are not in dispute with anyone other than the SPFL. Okay. They are not in dispute with an external company. They're in dispute with the Rangers, the SPFL, about what Rangers' practice is.
Yeah.
Right. So Rangers have got a contract with the club and with someone else, and they're going to wear whatever they're going to wear. The SPFL have got a contract with a different club, a different sponsor, and they demand that Rangers wear that. That's exactly all it is. The SPFL are demanding that Rangers do the same as every other club and wear the sponsors' logos on it. Which, by the way, the team that we played at the weekend were doing that. They had it on. 11 had them on. So Rangers are the only team in the SPFL that are not wearing the sponsors' logos. And I don't
know. Good on
Rangers.
Good on Rangers.
Because I understand. I'm trying to say. I
know, Bridge. It's your opinion, and we all accept your opinion. But my take on it is, I've had a small perusal at the newspapers, had a wee look at it. You know what my opinion is on it? Anything we can do to screw the SPFL or Scottish football, I'm more than happy for Rangers to do it. And nobody can demand you to do anything.
Listen, let's be honest, Bridge is right. See, listen, hold on a minute.
People can be too cautious.
Listen, one at a time. We're at dispute with the SPFL where they're shite, and only them, no external body, right? So what will happen is the SPFL will wriggle their way out it by saying, well, look, we'll just write to all the other clubs and ask for their opinion, and the majority vote will carry. That's what Bridge is saying. That's what I think what Road will get done. And they've already put the wheels in motion. That's what Bridge is saying. So, listen, anything that stalls them, anything that upsets them, I totally agree there.
That's what I mean.
You know, if we can stall it and make them sweat, let's do it. Even if we know that we're going to...
On Saturday, how do we not just put on the back of our strips, Parks of Hamilton, buy a car for us, we're better than Cleese or whatever they are. Just stick that in the back of the cars. Just stick that in the back of the cars.
We've got to tell them what we're wearing and how many badges and all that's going on.
They don't need to tell them nothing. They don't tell us anything, so we don't need to tell them anything.
Buy a car for Parks, it's a cinch.
Aye. There you go.
On you go, Port Bear. What were you saying?
But one of the things that I was majorly concerned about was the Lente deal. Who the hell would agree to a 5-year deal on that money? £8 million over 5 years. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's over the 40 clubs in the Scottish League or the 10. But either way, it's just like your mortgage or your gas company you don't sign up for 5 years, do you? It's just a weird length of time for me. And yet again, maybe the best idea is James Bisgrove keeps just filling my strips with sponsors so there's no space to put it on. That's the only thing I can think on, mate. But the deal's crazy to me.
They seem to be scratching about in the dirt for sponsors, don't they? They have for a while. Sorry.
Stuart Robinson's even laughed at them and he's went on and said, why sell yourself short? He's already told you on. And I mean, let's be honest, James Bisgrove, since he came in, he's brought in 8 million in the last 12 months. Never mind 8 million or 5 years. You know what I mean? These guys, it's just that their business is that bad, nobody's wanting to sponsor them, and they've managed to drug somebody into doing it. That's the only way I can describe it. They're fun an idiot to actually sponsor them.
They're missing the boat,
even
Steve,
after 5 years of them.
I've said this before on the show. They're missing the boat. We've got a global brand as our manager. We've got one of probably the finest football teams that's been seen in Scotland for a long number of years, who have been there, done it in Europe, over the last 3 years under Gerrard. Why is the SPFL, SFL not jumping on the fact Steven Gerrard's a figurehead of Scottish football and using that guy? You tell me that's the best we can get with a manager and a team like that? I don't think so, mate. I really don't think so. I just don't think they're using our global brand enough to promote the Scottish game, and that's what we're falling down. I think you've said it before, Steve, on the show. This team of guys that running our game, they're hating our football to death.
Aye. They're eating themselves for the inside out, Porters. They're too wise about it, and they're only doing that for the hate of one club. They try to move the goalposts. They've not got a clue how to promote their football. They've just not got a clue, and it's fully hatred for one club at Stockton. As you said, we've got a world brand there, Stevie Gerrard. You've got a club who went through an invincible season, a club that's punched above their weight in Europe the last 3 years, and they don't know how to promote their league and get better deals. They're an absolute disgrace, and nothing will ever change my mind.
But is Rangers not got a legal grounding to take to the SPFL and the SFA and that, and saying that yous running your side of the business wrongly is detrimental to us as a club? Because if they're not promoting things, you know what I mean? They're not promoting it, no utilising it. We can do all we can do for your side, but yet yous are letting the team down in regards to, you're just nitpicking at things. You're pulling crap deals out of the air, left, right, and centre. I believe they're paying outside people $100,000 a year to get the deal. So there's 500,000 half the deal already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, they're vastly selling my game.
Listen, guys, we're nearly getting to that time of night. Can I quickly get back to Bridge and say this to him? I know exactly where Bridge is coming from. He's watched it and he reads it, and I feel exactly the same as him. See, when they get back to these clubs and go for a vote with this 1.6 million deal, do you know some of these clubs are actually now finding out what the SPFL and Scottish football are really about? So I'm not too sure that it would maybe go their way. I think there's a lot of clubs out there now really can see where we came from last year with all the jiggery pokery supercomputers and putting Thistle and all these teams down the league, Hearts and Marseilles and everything else they've done to us, made Celtic win the league and before about the rest of the season getting done. I think clubs have now stood up and took notice of that. And when things go to a vote now, I'm not too sure they'd be that unanimous for them anymore. I really don't. I think decency will always prevail in the end. And I just hope that if it did go to a vote, and as Big Al said, anything that stalls them, anything that makes them sweat, anything that can make them get a no sleep at night, let's do it. Let's do it against them, because they've done nothing but kick us at every turn. And I think Bridge would agree with it there. So listen, guys, that's the last that we're going to get tonight. Before I go, I just want to say thanks to Big Al, Bully, Baloo, and everybody else that came on tonight, and to Robert Withrow, everybody at Rangers Radio will be rooting for you and thinking about you tomorrow, Robert. So I'm going to hand you over to the Bridge man now, and thanks a lot, guys, for letting me do this tonight. By the way, I've got speeds of sweat dripping down my forehead here. I was running out of things to say, but there you go. But thanks for having us, and all the best to Robert. Over to the Bridge man.
Oh, listen, Big Stevie, well done, pal, and of course Port Bear as well. Great supporters for you, and to all the other guys doing the techie work. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, huge disappointment for our team last night. But we're going to rise, pick ourselves up, and go on. So come the weekend, we're going to start building up for the weekend. So everybody, please keep it going for the Rangers, because there's only one thing that keeps the Rangers going, and that's us, the fans. So everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because they need us. Keep it going.
They come from all of Glasgow, they come from near and far. They come from every Highland glen, from here to Lochnacar. They sail from dear old Belfast to the bonny banks of Clyde. They gather round to Timeless Park and loudly sing with pride. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, the Scotland's very best. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. The boys in blue of Ibrox, the Scotland's very best. There's Richie Shearer, Robin, John Gregg, McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Henderson, George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch it, then I set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. The boys in blue, the Ibrox, the Scotland's very best. Richie Shearer, Robin, John Gregg, McKinnon too. There's Baxter, Henderson, George McLean, they proudly wear the blue. There's Miller, Brandon, Wilson, what better could you want? Plus 70,000 Rangers fans that proudly sing this chant. Oh yeah, it's R-E-N-G, and R-N-S. In case you didn't catch your friend, I set your mind at rest. Oh yeah, it's